Heartwarming moment. Millionaire discovered little girl as hidden pain and transformed her life forever. Emily felt the weight of the world on her small shoulders as she wiped down tables at the diner. At just 12 years old, her days blurred into a cycle of greasy fries and coffee refills, drowning out the muffled dreams of becoming an artist that lingered like faint whispers. Her fingers, calloused from endless work, yearned to glide across paper, to bring to life the swirling colors in her imagination. But the diner, the family legacy, consumed her every waking moment. Her mother, strong and weary, worked 2 jobs to keep their fragile life afloat after her father's injury had shattered their world. One fateful golden afternoon, Jack stepped into the diner. A self-made millionaire, he wore his wealth like a custom-tailored suit, high-end but oddly unpretentious. As he settled into a booth by the window, sunbeams catching the glint in his eye, he noticed Emily. When she met his gaze, there was something in that moment, as if he could see past the aprons and the tables to the treasure buried deep within her soul. Before long, Jack caught glimpses of her hidden sketches tucked away in corners, half-finished drawings that told tales of dreams and struggles. There was something magical about the way she breathed life into her art. Jack felt compelled to draw her out of the shadows, to unleash the brilliance bound within her. "Emily," he said one day, the diner bustling with laughter and clanking plates. "You've got a gift. Ever thought of pursuing it?" Her heart raced. The thought had fled too far from her mind, replaced by the necessity of keeping the diner running. Yet, Jack's words played a haunting melody in her heart. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue." Jack soon extended a hand to Emily, offering her a scholarship to a prestigious art program, a chance for rebirth. But in a heartbeat, her heart sank. Torn between her loyalty to her mother, to the sacrifices made on their behalf, and the chance to soar beyond what felt like shackles, Emily stood at an emotional crossroads. The diner buzzed with anticipation as the art show loomed closer, turning it into a battleground of hopes and fears. Her mother, beleaguered and exhausted, perceived this opportunity not as a lift, but a blade threatening their delicate stability. It felt like betrayal. Doubts flared and murmurs rolled through the community like dark clouds, painting her dreams in shades of uncertainty. As the day drew near, Emily wrestled with doubt. Would she stand tall, embraced by support? Or would she falter, seen as disloyal? The night before the show, she sat holding her sketches, tears threatening to spill as the intertwining threads of family and ambition tugged at her heart. Hope flickered weakly. Could she truly break free without forsaking the love that birthed these very dreams? With the art show blossoming like a tenuous flower in a storm, Emily's fate hung by the thinnest thread. Will the shadows of loyalty suffocate her dreams? Or can the strong winds of community support and love guide her to the light? In those fleeting moments, the canvas of her life awaited its next stroke, teetering between heartache and hope as the world held its breath for what was to come. The day of the art show dawned, and the sun spilled golden light across the quaint town, illuminating every crevice and corner like a grand spotlight. Emily stood in front of the mirror, her heart pounding in sync with the tick-tock of the clock. She brushed a stray hair behind her ear and took a deep breath, feeling the familiar weight of apprehension settle in her chest. This wasn't just another day. This was the day that could change everything. As she arrived at the gallery, the air buzzed with excitement. People filled the space, gathering around the pristine white walls adorned with vibrant works of art from local talent alongside her pieces. Emily's heart raced. She was here, amid dreams painted on canvas, but she could hardly breathe. Each continuous whisper pricked her confidence. What if they don't understand? She thought, the doubt creeping in once again. Jack arrived shortly after, his easy smile cutting through the tension like a warm knife through butter. He sauntered over and noticed her fidgeting. "You ready?" he asked, his voice steady and reassuring. Emily nodded, though her stomach twisted in knots. She felt like a small boat on ocean waves, tossed and turned, trying to stay upright. With a gentle encouragement, he stood beside her, a familiar anchor in a sea of uncertainty. As the doors opened and guests flowed in, Emily stood by as her friends and neighbors admired her sketches. She watched them point, laugh, and discuss the heartfelt narratives behind her work. It felt surreal, each compliment washing over her like a soothing balm. Yet part of her remained fiercely guarded, worried about what her mother would say if she saw her art hanging for all to critique. Would she find pride, or would it echo her fears and doubts? A couple of hours into the event, Emily spotted her mother near the doorway, her face a mixture of pride and worry. She was closely followed by a gathering of local patrons, flanked by the great and the good of the community. Emily's heart thumped loudly against her ribs. Will she be supportive, or will she see this as a breach of loyalty? It was a question that spiraled again and again in her mind. At that moment, their eyes caught one another. For a heartbeat, time froze. Emily could see the glimmer of something: curiosity, admiration, perhaps even a spark of understanding. Her mother stepped closer, a hesitant smile creeping onto her face. "You've done well," she said softly, the words hanging between them, weighted with unsaid thoughts. Suddenly, a loud cheer erupted behind them as one of the attendees sold a piece of art. Emily's heart swelled simultaneously with hope, yet she felt the churning grief of having to choose between her ambitions and the obligations she felt towards her family. Every moment at the gallery surged forward like wildfire. This was her chance to embrace everything she had dreamed of. Yet with it came the burden of expectation. As the night unfolded, Emily's thoughts spiraled. The path ahead was thick with uncertainty, her dreams still competing against her need to honor her family. She looked at Jack, who was talking to others about her work, exuberantly sharing more about her gifts. His eyes sparkled, filled with confidence, but that only intensified the turmoil in her heart. In the back of her mind, she wondered, if I take this leap, will I lose my family? As they moved through the evening, she stood suspended between two worlds, each tethered by love, yet both so profoundly different. Now, standing in the gallery, her heart raced again, a churning tempest of ambition and fear. Then, just as it seemed her emotions might collapse in on themselves, a sudden shuffle near the doorway caught her attention. A familiar face emerged from the crowd, one that hadn't appeared in a long time. Would it change everything she thought she knew? Emily's breath hitched in her throat as she locked eyes with the person emerging from the crowd. It was Sarah, her childhood friend, who had moved away years ago without a word. Memories flooded back all at once, shared dreams, laughter, and the comforting feeling of being understood. Yet now, the years between them felt like an insurmountable chasm. "Emily?" Sarah's voice was tentative, tinged with disbelief. "Is that really you?" A mix of joy and anxiety churned within Emily. She hadn't heard that voice in so long. Sarah had been like a sister, her confidant, her partner in art crimes, sketching in the park until the sun dipped below the horizon. Wandering through the gallery, her heart racing, Emily felt the weight of the past pressing down, demanding to be addressed. "Sarah, I didn't expect it. So good to see you." Emily tried to sound enthusiastic, but her voice faltered. A whirlwind of emotions bubbled beneath her calm facade, intertwining with the art-themed event surrounding them. Sarah stepped closer, her eyes glistening. "I heard about the show. I'm so proud of you. Your art, I remember how much you loved it." "Thanks." Emily forced a smile, feeling the weight of her current struggles press heavily against the euphoria of that moment. "I didn't know you were back in town." "I came for a visit," Sarah said, her gaze drifting around the gallery, admiring the pieces. "You've really poured your heart into this, haven't you?" Emily nodded, swallowing hard. "I'm trying to, but it hasn't been easy." The words escaped her before she could stop them. a gentle crack in her armor. "I heard your mom was coming," Sarah mentioned, her tone shifting slightly. "How is she handling everything?" "That's the thing." Emily clenched her fists, feeling the mix of fear and hope swirl in her chest. "I'm always torn between what my art means to me and what my family expects." "Have you talked to her about it?" Sarah asked, her tone softening, as if she understood the weight of it all. "Not really. I don't know if she'll ever understand. It feels like I'm choosing a life that might disappoint her." As Sarah watched her, Emily could see the flicker of empathy in her eyes. It was a reminder of their past bond, one that had always fueled and supported her dreams. "You deserve to chase your passion, Em. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." Just then, the crowd erupted in applause, drawing their attention back to the other side of the gallery, where another piece of art had just sold. The reminder of success and acceptance filled the air, but in that moment, Emily felt more vulnerable than ever. "I suppose you're right," Emily replied, her voice steadying as she returned Sarah's gaze. "But it feels like a weight I can't shake off. Maybe it's time to share those feelings with her. You never know, she might surprise you." Sarah offered a knowing smile, the kind only a friend who truly understands can provide. In that moment, Emily glanced again towards her mother, who now stood engaged in conversation, a sense of pride on her face. Could this be the moment to bridge the gap? Could she transform the tension into understanding? "Will you help me?" Emily blurted out, her heart racing. "I mean, face my fears, talk to her?" "Of course." Sarah grinned, her enthusiasm infectious. The warmth of their friendship ignited a spark of courage within Emily. "We'll face it together." Feeling the tide of emotions recede as determination took over, Emily took a deep breath. This could be the beginning of something new, something healing. With Jack's supportive presence and Sarah by her side, she was ready to confront the fears that had held her captive for so long. Just as they were about to stride across the gallery, Emily caught a glimpse of her mother moving away from the crowd. She felt the rush of urgency surge through her veins. This was her moment, one she could not let slip away again. But what would she say? And how would her mother react? As doubt crept in, Emily could only wonder if she was really ready for this. Emily's heart pounded as she watched her mother's figure become less distinct in the bustling crowd. Every fiber of her being urged her forward, yet a rush of fear pulled her back. What if she doesn't understand? The question looped in her mind, each time echoing louder. Sarah nudged her gently. "You've got this. Just remember, you're not alone." Taking a deep breath, Emily stepped away from the comfort of the gallery's familiar displays. With every step, anxiety twisted in her stomach. She could feel Jack's presence behind her, steady, calm, and supportive. It was then that she noted Sarah's encouraging smile. It lit a flicker of hope deep inside her. "Mom," Emily called out, her voice almost swallowed by the crowd. The woman turned, her expression shifting from surprise to recognition. "Emily." Her mother's face broke into a smile that held both warmth and an unspoken expectation. "I didn't see you there. The show is amazing." "Thanks, Mom." The words felt heavy as they left her mouth. Emily glanced around, noticing the vibrant artwork that surrounded them. But instead of comfort, it felt like a reminder of the unspoken rift between her and her mother. "Can we talk? Just me and you?" Her mother hesitated, a shadow passing over her face. "Sure, darling. Is something wrong?" Suddenly, all the colors blurred into one dull wash in Emily's eyes. This was it, the moment she had hoped for, the chance to bridge the gap. "It's not wrong, it's just, I need to tell you something important." They stepped aside, finding a quieter corner amidst the ongoing celebration. The chatter faded, leaving a raw silence between them. "I've been thinking a lot about my art," Emily began, her voice wavering slightly. "About what it means to me and about us." Her mother nodded, frowning slightly. "You've always loved art. I thought you enjoyed this path." "I do," Emily said, trying to find the right words. "But I feel like there's always this pressure, the pressure to be what you want me to be, instead of who I really am." Sometimes I wonder if you're proud of me or just proud of the idea of what you want me to achieve. The tension hung in the air. Emily watched her mother's expression shift from surprise to something deeper. Oh, Emily, that's not what I wanted for you, but it is how it feels, Mom. The words rushed out now, almost like a tidal wave. Every time I paint, I want to create for myself, not just for you or anyone else. I don't want to disappoint you, but I can't hide what's inside any longer. An unexpected silence stretched between them. Emily felt every second. The weight of her confession lingered as she searched her mother's face for any sign of understanding. Finally, her mother reached for Emily, placing a tentative hand on her shoulder. I'm proud of you, no matter what path you take. I just want you to be happy. Emily's heart raced. Do you really mean that? I wish I had understood this sooner, her mother admitted, tears beginning to glisten in her eyes. I never wanted to put pressure on you. I just wanted to protect you. In that moment, something shifted. It was as if a breath they both had been holding was finally released. Emily felt a mixture of relief and urgency. Could this be the breakthrough she'd longed for? Sarah approached, her smile genuine. Hey, everything okay? Emily glanced back at her mother, who nodded slowly, wiping away a stray tear. We're good, I think we're finally starting to talk. As the words hung in the air, Emily felt a surge of hope. Maybe this was the beginning of understanding, the kind she had always wanted. Yet another thought crept in. Would her mother truly embrace her choices, or would fear still loom over their relationship? Just then, across the room, an unexpected figure caught Emily's attention, an old professor from her art classes. What would he say if he knew about her struggles? And what role would he play in this unfolding narrative of her life? As she stood there, a knot of anticipation began to form in her stomach once more. Emily's eyes locked onto her former professor, Mr. Blanchard, as he exchanged pleasantries with a group of art enthusiasts. His tall frame was hard to miss among the crowd, and the way he animatedly gestured while speaking reminded her of the passion he ignited in his classes. So much had changed since she last saw him, yet part of her felt the same spark she did in those classrooms. Do you want to go talk to him? Sarah asked, nudging her forward. What if he doesn't remember me? Emily felt a sudden wave of self-doubt crash over her. It's been years. Come on, Em. You were his favorite student, remember? Just go say hi. Sarah's enthusiasm was infectious. Jack shot her a reassuring smile from the sidelines, encouraging her with his eyes. Taking a deep breath, Emily stepped forward, her heart racing with each stride. It took only a few moments for Mr. Blanchard to notice her. His eyes lit up, a broad smile spreading across his face as he stepped away from the group, leaving them in a bewildered chatter. Emily, my, how you've grown, he exclaimed, his voice booming with genuine warmth. I barely recognized you. What a surprise. Hi, Mr. Blanchard. It's so good to see you. She could feel her cheeks flush, and part of her hoped the excitement in her voice masked her earlier reservations. Is this your work on display? He asked, gesturing to the vibrant pieces surrounding them. Yeah, it is. I've been finally pursuing what I truly love, she admitted, feeling a weight lift with each word spoken. I can tell. You've always had such a unique perspective, he replied, his expression earnest. I knew you'd find your voice. Her heart swelled at his words, but a familiar tension returned. Actually, I wanted to share something with you. I've been struggling with my art and a lot of personal things about my family. It's a lot to unpack. His brow furrowed slightly, concern washing over his features. I'm here to listen, Emily. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I know that life can sometimes overshadow our passions. With that, everything in her wanted to pour out the pressure she felt, the fear of disappointing her mother, her yearning to be seen for who she really was. But just as she opened her mouth to speak, her mother's voice broke through the air. Emily, there you are. Her mother's hand wrapped protectively around Emily's arm, anchoring her in place. I was looking for you. Mom, this is Mr. Blanchard. He was my professor. I remember the way you spoke about your classes, her mother said, her tone suddenly a little too tight. So inspiring. The moment felt jarring, the air thickening between everyone. Emily sensed the unease rising. Her mother's protective instincts were palpable, almost suffocating. Hadn't they just broken ground in their own conversation? Why did everything feel so unsettled now? Your artwork speaks volumes, Emily, Mr. Blanchard continued, his gaze shifting between mother and daughter. I'm sure you have so much to express. Yes, Emily echoed, but her voice was barely a whisper, lost between the tension that brewed. Just then, a vibrant piece fell from the wall, startling everyone. The room gasped, and Emily's heart leapt. Was it an omen or a sign? As viewers rushed to see the damage, Emily glanced back at her mother and Mr. Blanchard, two pivotal figures in her life, each standing at a crossroads she didn't know how to navigate. Emma felt a wave of determination swell within her. If she could just find the right words, maybe she could open a door not just within herself, but for her mother, too. Mr. Blanchard, she began, but before she could continue, the gallery manager's anxious voice cut through the conversation. Can everyone please remain calm? We're handling this. Just a slight mishap. Emily looked between her mother and the commotion. As excitement mingled with anxiety in her chest, she realized this was not just a chance to discuss art, it was a chance for real honesty. Would she have the courage to share her fears and aspirations before the chaos swallowed up their moment? She took a deep breath and steeled herself for another round of vulnerability. The noise faded as she focused entirely on her moment of truth. Emily felt the moment hanging in the air, thick with unspoken words. Her heart raced, but the noise around her seemed to fade, amplifying her nervous heartbeat. She looked up at Mr. Blanchard, his kind eyes urging her on. Mr. Blanchard, I've lost my way a bit, she started, her voice shaky. But just as she spoke, her mother tensed beside her. Emily sensed the shift, the protective energy radiating off her. I'm not sure how to keep creating while dealing with everything at home. Home? Mr. Blanchard asked gently, tilting his head slightly as he focused intently on her. Her mother's grip on her arm tightened. Emily, maybe we should, Mom, please. Emily blurted out, her frustration bubbling over. A few heads turned at the sudden outburst. Just let me talk. The gallery felt smaller in that moment, the eyes of strangers weighing down on them. But there was no turning back. This was her chance. Life at home is complicated, she admitted, her voice quieter now. My mom wants me to do so much, and sometimes it feels like I'm struggling to breathe under that weight. Art was supposed to be my escape, something I could finally own. But it's so hard when I feel like I'm constantly disappointing everyone. Mr. Blanchard nodded slowly, absorbing her words. That's an incredible burden to carry, Emily. Art should be an expression of who you are, not a source of stress. Tears brimmed in her eyes. But how do I break through that? How do I show them who I really am? Just then, the gallery manager returned, flustered but speaking with authority. We're all set. Just a minor accident with the display. Please, everyone, enjoy the rest of the evening. Emily realized she had momentarily lost track of the crowd. The tension in her chest transformed into something bittersweet. The fear she felt about her mother's expectations now sat intertwined with the thrill of sharing her truth. She glanced at her mother. Despite her earlier protective stance, she saw a flicker of softness in her eyes, a hint of understanding. Maybe you need to create something that speaks to all of this, Mr. Blanchard suggested. Art could be your way to navigate this pressure. Don't you think? Emily's heart flickered with hope. You mean like using my art to show how I feel? Exactly. Don't shy away from your emotions. Embrace them. That's how you can connect with others, he encouraged. As Emily's gaze drifted to her mother, she noticed a slight easing in her expression. Could it be? Did she finally understand the weight that clouded Emily's creativity? Mom, maybe we could find a way to talk about this, about what I need, together? Emily ventured, her voice now steady. Her mother looked surprised. Of course, Emily. I didn't realize how much you were carrying. I just want what's best for you. The room around them faded into the background as Emily felt a spark of hope igniting, a tiny victory in the face of years of pressure. Perhaps there would be space for dialogue, for understanding. Mr. Blanchard, thank you for listening, she said, feeling gratitude surge through her. Always, he replied softly, a knowing glimmer in his eyes. But before she could fully bask in the warmth of this newfound connection, the bustling gallery seemed to pull her back, reminding her of the work yet to be done. Could she really find her artistic voice amidst all the chaos? Emily's heart raced at the thought, but the way forward felt just a little clearer now. Let us head over to your artwork, shall we? Sarah chimed in, breaking the spell of the moment. As they stepped into the crowd, Emily could not shake the weight of anticipation. Something was changing, but she could feel something even bigger looming ahead. What would her first piece of truth look like? Would it open alliances or deepen divides? The night was far from over, and her heart raced with both fear and exhilaration as she took another step forward. Emily moved through the gallery, the vibrant colors of the paintings swirling around her like a whirlwind of emotions. Every brushstroke, every shadow felt like a whisper beckoning her closer. She felt lighter, but a spark of doubt flickered in the back of her mind. What if her art was just as disappointing as everyone said? What if all she managed to express was the blemish of her insecurities? Look at this one, Sarah said, drawing Emily away from her thoughts, her finger pointing excitedly at a large canvas filled with bursting colors. They made their way close, and Emily felt her earlier fear fading, just a little. It's beautiful, she replied, trying to appreciate the work Sarah admired. But her thoughts drifted back to her own artwork, the unfinished pieces waiting for her at home like unsent letters brimming with secrets. As they wandered, she caught a glimpse of her mother speaking with Mr. Blanchard. From where she stood, she couldn't hear what they were saying, but she could see the ease in their conversation, the way Mr. Blanchard gestured with open hands, as if trying to bridge a gap. Emily's heart tightened. Was her mother finally beginning to understand her? She wished she could know what was being discussed. It felt vital, like a pivotal moment in a story that needed to unfold with every intricate detail. Want to go see your piece now? I bet it's incredible. Sarah's eagerness pulled Emily from her thoughts once more. Yeah, let us go, Emily muttered, forcing a smile but feeling her heartbeat quicken in anticipation and dread. As they approached her artwork, it felt like stepping into a different realm. The piece was among a sea of vibrant colors, a canvas splashed with deep blues and bright oranges, swirling together in a chaotic dance. It was raw, honest, and full of emotion, reflecting the storm inside her. Wow, Sarah breathed, her eyes wide. It's so powerful. Look at the way the colors clash and blend, it's like it's alive. Emily stared at it, her heart pounding. Do you really think so? Absolutely. It shows pain but also strength. I can feel your struggle here. It's so real. The words warmed Emily from inside out. Maybe this was what Mr. Blanchard meant by connection. Her art, her truth, resonating with someone else. It was terrifying yet exhilarating. Look, Sarah said, reaching out as if to touch it, but stopping short. You should tell everyone what it means. They need to hear the story behind the art. Emily swallowed hard. What if they don't understand? What if it all just falls flat? Then you try again. Sarah's voice was steadier than Emily felt. But you owe it to yourself to be brave. Bravery. The word echoed in Emily's mind, mingling with her heartbeat. Could she be brave enough to share her truth? Suddenly, Mr. Blanchard was at her side, his presence both grounding and supportive. It's time, Emily. Don't hold back. This is your moment. The crowd around her felt electric, the air thick with anticipation. She glanced at her mother, who was now watching cautiously, uncertainty etched on her face. Could she find the courage to break through the walls they built? Taking a deep breath, Emily stepped forward. Excuse me, everyone, she called out, her voice steadying as she focused on the crowd drawn toward her art. I'd like to share what this piece means. As the hush fell over the gallery, Emily's heart raced with anticipation and fear, the possibilities before her as wide open as the sky. Would they hear her? Would it resonate? And then, just as she began to speak, a loud crash erupted from the other side of the gallery. Emily's heart stopped. What now? The moment just slipped away. Emily's gaze whipped toward the source of the chaos. A large sculpture, once towering and proud, lay shattered on the polished floor, ice shards glistening against the dim gallery lights. Gasps erupted in the crowd, and the atmosphere shifted from anticipation to shock. "What just happened?" Sarah asked, her voice rising above the murmurs. I don't know." Emily's heart pounded as anxiety clawed at her stomach. Amidst the clamor, she saw Mr. Blanchard rush towards the mess, his expression a mix of concern and resolve. He motioned for calm, but the uncertainty wrapped around her like a heavy cloak. Did someone get hurt? Emily's mother rushed to the scene, her face pale. Just a few moments ago, she had been deep in conversation with Mr. Blanchard. Now both clearly were distracted by the aftermath of the accident. Emily's heart sank. Was this a sign? The unease in her chest ignited her doubts again, whispers of old insecurities stirring like dust in the sunlight. This was her moment, wasn't it? And now it was gone, swallowed up by the crash and cacophony. Maybe we should go check it out, Sarah suggested, grabbing Emily's hand. With a reluctant nod, Emily followed, unsure if her artwork was still the center of attention or if it had been overshadowed by calamity. As they walked, she caught snippets of conversation. Some were about the sculpture, while others speculated about the artist. Weaving through the crowd, she felt a part of her shrink. That should have been her moment to shine, but now it felt stolen. By the time they reached the scene, the chaos was still unfolding. People clustered close, pointing and discussing the piece. Emily's breathing quickened, not from excitement, but from a deep-seated apprehension. Do you think they'll still want to hear what you have to say? Sarah asked softly, concern lacing her words. Emily glanced back at her artwork, standing resilient in the midst of the storm. It suddenly felt more present than ever, louder in contrast to the wreckage nearby. I don't know. Let us wait a minute. You might still get your chance, Sarah replied, her voice a steady anchor amidst the growing noise. Mr. Blanchard stood tall now, commanding attention. All right, everyone. We need to clear this area and ensure safety. Please gather around. We'll resume the presentations shortly. Your patience is appreciated. Emily's heart swelled a bit at his confidence, but an undercurrent of fear still churned inside. What if this was all she ever had? Just an unfinished piece of art in a game of life that seemed to have no pause button? As the crowd jostled, she caught a glimpse of her mother, looking her way with an expression that mingled pride and worry. There was something else there, a spark of concern. Emily's heart twisted. Was she worried about the art? Was this the same pain she had felt all along, the weight of their unspoken history? Emily, are you okay? Sarah asked, pulling her gently from her thoughts. Yeah, I think I just need to everyone. Mr. Blanchard's voice boomed again, breaking through the escalating chatter. Let us give Emily Bloom the space she deserves to share her story. Let us celebrate her art. The crowd turned towards her, some faces encouraging, others skeptical. The spotlight was suddenly back on her, brighter and hotter than before. Everybody's gaze fixed on her, waiting. Emily's breath hitched. This was her moment. Or was it just another moment slipping away? Would she find her voice again, or let the fear take hold? And as her heart raced with mounting urgency, a new voice pierced through the uncertainty, an unexpected voice that made her old fears bubble just beneath the surface. What story could she really tell? Emily turned, her heart pounding as she recognized the familiar figure. It was Harper, standing there with a smirk, arms crossed. What did Harper mean by that? Would Emily have to confront not just her fears, but the doubts of those around her? As the words hung in the air, Emily felt all eyes on her. The small knot of confidence she had begun to weave around herself was suddenly frayed at the edges. There was Harper, an impending storm threatening to drown her burgeoning light. Harper, she managed to say, her voice almost swallowed by the ebbing murmurs of the crowd. What do you mean? Harper chuckled, tilting her head slightly, her confidence a shield against Emily's uncertainty. I mean, how can you share your story when you don't even know it yourself? What do you really have to say? The smirk lingered, sharp enough to cut through all the support Emily had gathered. Emily's heart raced. She could sense Sarah squeeze her hand tighter, a silent show of solidarity, but it was as if the room had closed in around her, the artful walls suddenly weighing heavy. "Emily has pure talent," Mr. Blanchard interjected, stepping forward, his voice a robust anchor against Harper's thinly veiled mockery. "Let her share her truth, whatever it may be." But as Mr. Blanchard spoke, Emily felt her resolve crumbling. There was a gap between the artist she wanted to be and the person standing in front of an audience. She stammered, fighting tears that threatened to spill over. "I don't know if I can." The audience murmured, confused whispers flitting across the room like flocks of startled birds. Emily's eyes darted to her mother, who wore a look of fierce pride mixed with trepidation. She needed to say something. Anything. "What story do I even have?" Emily breathed, her voice quiet but strained. "Your artwork tells a story," Sarah whispered, her soothing presence grounding Emily in that moment. "Just be honest. Share what you feel." In that instant, Emily remembered the hours spent in her tiny studio, surrounded by the chaos of her emotions. Every stroke of paint, every jagged edge had a reason. She could share that. Taking a deep breath, she straightened her back, pulling the nerves from within her. I painted my heart," she began slowly, her voice gaining strength. "Each piece is a piece of me, my fears, my dreams, the in-betweens. The chaos of life, and yes, the broken pieces, too." As she spoke, she gazed into the crowd. The faces began to shift from uncertainty to interest. She could feel their energy leaning towards her, urging her on. And sometimes Emily hesitated, but the warmth of understanding from her mother spurred her onward. Sometimes those broken pieces can come together to create something beautiful. Like this art, it was all born from struggle. Tears brimmed in her eyes, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of release, of acceptance. As she shared, she felt a lightness, as if the weight of expectations was lifting. And then Harper spoke again, but this time without the biting tone, with a hint of curiosity. "But what if it doesn't work out? What if people don't understand?" In that moment, Emily's heart settled. "Then I'll keep trying. Because my story deserves to be told, even if it's messy." Her words hung in the air, quiet and powerful. The crowd could sense the shift, a stillness replacing the earlier chaos. Mr. Blanchard nodded proudly, while Sarah's smile beamed brighter than stars above. Suddenly, someone in the back clapped, slowly at first. Then another joined in until the claps built into a wave of applause. Emily's breath caught. She didn't just feel the validation. She felt the acceptance of every flaw and strength she bore. It was no longer just about the art. It was about the fight, the struggle, the journey she had undertaken. And then, through the waves of applause and encouragement, Emily caught Harper's eyes. There was something different now, something softer. The smirk faded, replaced by a puzzled look, a recognition of the truths she had just laid bare. Maybe she didn't have to face this alone after all. But before she could dive deeper into that thought, another voice broke through the moment with an urgent shout. "Wait! There's something we need to talk about, Emily, something important." Emily turned sharply, sensing the urgency in the air. What could be so crucial now? Would this revelation help her move forward, or would it cast yet another shadow over this illuminated moment? Emily turned, her heart pounding, as she faced the determined eyes of her mother. The urgency in her mom's voice sent a shiver down her spine. "What is it, Mom?" she asked, while an eager crowd continued to clap and murmur. The gallery hummed with anticipation. Emily's heart raced again, not just from sharing her truth, but from the weight of her mother's presence. Would this turn out to be the lifeline she needed for their relationship? Or would it still feel heavy, a burden she had to carry alone? Her mother stepped forward, gathering herself, her expression shifting from apprehension to sincerity. "I need to share something important," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "My love for you has always been loud, but my fear of losing you to a world I don't understand has often drowned that love out." A hush fell over the gallery, a tide of emotions surged between them. Emily felt tears prick the corners of her eyes. This was the honesty she had longed for, the words she had wished for so many times before. I thought pushing you towards stability meant I was protecting you, her mother continued, her voice shaking but firm. I thought if you followed a safe path, I'd be keeping our family together. But I see now that I was wrong. I didn't realize that your dreams, your art could bring us closer, not push you away. Emily felt warmth blooming in her chest. Her mother was finally acknowledging the truth, seeing her for the artist she was and the person she was becoming. So many emotions were tangled inside her, but she couldn't ignore the surge of hope. Mom, I love you, and I want to share these dreams with you. But I need you to accept where I'm going. It's not about abandoning you. It's about embracing myself while still being part of our family. Her mother stepped closer, the tears flowing freely now. Then let us do this together. I want to understand what this means for you, for us. I want to be proud not just of the idea of what my daughter will be, but of the person you are right now. The crowd murmured, witnessing the emotional exchange that was unfolding before them. Jack beamed with pride in the background, while Sarah stood at Emily's side, her heart bursting with joy for her friend. As the moment lingered, Emily took her mother's hands into her own, holding them tightly. I'm ready to share, Mom, but I need your support. We can navigate this path together. I want you by my side as I show the world who I am. With a small nod, her mother smiled through her tears, squeezing Emily's hands back. I'm with you, and I'll learn along the way. Let us turn this family legacy into something beautiful together. The applause that erupted after felt like a resounding affirmation, a crescendo of support echoing off the gallery walls. The fear, once a looming shadow, now transformed into light like sunlight breaking through the clouds. In that beautiful moment, the full weight of connection washed over Emily. She could feel the art within her every line and color begin to break free, melding with the love and acceptance forged in this newfound understanding. As the celebration continued, Emily stood proud beside her mother, Jack, and Sarah, each heartbeat quickening with the promise of what lay ahead. This was just the beginning of her journey, not just as an artist, but as a daughter and a friend. As they looked around, laughter mingling with love, Emily felt an inner peace blossom. It wasn't just about the art anymore. It was about forging bonds and revealing the truth. She knew there would still be challenges ahead, but together, they could face anything. A storyteller, an artist, a daughter, this was who she was meant to be. So she breathed deep, a radiant smile spreading across her face. At that moment, she felt complete. The weight of the world was finally lifted, leaving only an abundance of hope and an open canvas waiting to be painted anew. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support seriously. It makes a difference. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending below. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait, not even one more second, to share this incredible journey. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.